There are battles you fight that no one ever sees, the kind that leave no scars on your skin but carve wounds into your soul. You wake up every morning, wear a quiet smile, and step into a world that has no idea how heavy your heart feels. You laugh at jokes, talk about the weather, go through the motions of an ordinary day, and yet, deep inside, there's a storm no one can name. These are the silent battles, the ones that happen behind closed doors, in the stillness of midnight, or in the breath you hold before saying, "I'm fine." They are the wars between what you show and what you truly feel. The world celebrates visible victories, but no one claps for the ones who simply survive another day. You might be fighting the fear of being forgotten, the guilt of mistakes you can't undo, the ache of being misunderstood, or the exhaustion of pretending you're okay. But just because no one sees it doesn't mean it's unseen by heaven. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. There's a holiness in what you endure quietly. No spotlight, no applause, no one cheering your name. Just you and the unseen weight that presses against your chest. You carry pain like a sacred secret, too heavy to share yet too important to ignore. Sometimes you lie awake, your thoughts replaying every word you wish you could take back. Sometimes you stand in front of the mirror, practicing a smile convincing enough to hide your fatigue. Yet somehow, you still rise. You still give. You still show up for others, even when you feel unseen yourself. That's not weakness. That's strength refined through silence. Every moment you choose love when bitterness would be easier. Every time you show grace when anger would feel right. That, as a victory, no one may ever witness but heaven never forgets. Maybe your silent battle is loneliness, the kind that doesn't go away even when you are surrounded by people. Maybe it's grief, the kind that lingers long after everyone else has moved on. Maybe it's regret, the memory of choices that haunt you in the quiet hours when the world sleeps. Or maybe it's the feeling of waiting for healing, for answers, for something to change. You carry it well, but that doesn't mean it isn't heavy. Still, even in the silence, something sacred is happening. The same God who painted galaxies in the dark is still painting beauty in your unseen moments. The silence isn't punishment, it's process. The waiting isn't absence, it's preparation. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:28. There will be days when you'll feel like you're losing. Days when your prayers echo back without an answer. Days when your strength feels like it's slipping away one heartbeat at a time. But even then, the act of holding on, of whispering one more prayer, of taking one more step, is itself an act of defiance against despair. You are fighting a holy war, one that no one may ever understand. The people who see you might think you're fine, but heaven knows the nights you spent breaking quietly. Heaven knows the courage it takes to rise from the ashes again and again. Every tear that fell unseen, every thought you couldn't voice, every deep breath you took before facing another day, all of it matters. None of it is wasted. When you feel unseen, remember that the God who sees sparrows fall also sees you. The silence of your pain doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means you are being refined, not ruined. You are being shaped in secret for something sacred. Strength built in silence is strength that lasts. It doesn't crumble when the noise comes. It doesn't fade when applause ends. Because it was never built for attention. It was built for eternity. The world may not reward your quiet endurance, but heaven calls it worship. The quiet victories, forgiving, enduring, hoping, still believing, are the purest kind. They are what make you beautiful in ways the world cannot measure. There's something divine about those who carry invisible battles with grace. They become gentler, more compassionate, more real. They learn to see others not for their smiles, but for their silences. And maybe that's the hidden gift of your struggle, that through your pain, you become a safe place for others who are breaking too. Your story becomes light in someone else's darkness. Your quiet survival becomes proof that it's possible to live through what you thought would destroy you. Because every silent battle survived is a testimony written in invisible ink, one that heaven reads clearly. So even when the world doesn't understand your pain, keep walking. Even when you feel forgotten, keep praying. Even when silence surrounds you, keep believing that something sacred is taking place within you. The teacher is silent during the test, but that doesn't mean he has left the room. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. There comes a moment in every silent battle when you grow tired of being strong, when pretending becomes too heavy, and even breathing feels like work. You start to wonder if anyone would notice if you stopped trying. You look around and see everyone else moving forward, smiling, succeeding, while you feel stuck in a loop of invisible pain. But here's what you don't see yet. Even in your exhaustion, something sacred is happening. Every time you break, something within you begins to rebuild. Not in the same shape, but in a truer one. Brokenness, in the hands of God, is never destruction, it's construction. He rebuilds you quietly, patiently, in the silence that others mistake for emptiness. Sometimes, the greatest miracles are the ones that happen slowly, not in the thunder, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the whisper, the still small voice that says, "Keep going." After the fire came a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. That's how God speaks in your silent battles, not with noise but with nearness. You may not see His hand, but you'll feel His presence. You'll feel it in the moment when peace arrives for no reason. You'll feel it in the tiny spark of strength that keeps you moving when everything tells you to stop. That's not coincidence, that's grace. It's easy to believe that faith is loud, hands raised, voices singing, hearts unshaken. But real faith often looks like quiet endurance. It's choosing to trust when you can't trace the plan. It's whispering prayers that sound like fragments. Help me. Stay with me. Don't let go. Those prayers matter. Heaven hears every syllable. When you cry in silence, the same God who counts the stars also counts your tears, and He never lets them fall without purpose. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. In the middle of your unseen battle, you might feel like nothing is changing. You pray, and the pain stays. You try, and the road stretches endlessly. But transformation is often invisible at first. A seed buried in the dark doesn't look alive, but that's exactly where life begins. The same is true for your heart. Growth often looks like stillness before it looks like strength. Healing feels like silence before it feels like song. What you call stuck is often being rooted. The dark soil that surrounds you isn't meant to bury you, it's meant to anchor you. There will come a time when you will look back at the season you are in right now and barely recognize yourself. You'll see that the silence you hated became the space where you learned to listen. You'll realize that what felt like abandonment was actually protection. God didn't leave you in the dark. He was teaching you to see differently. He was building strength in your waiting, faith in your confusion, and courage in your weakness. Every quiet battle has been a classroom. Every tear was a lesson in compassion. Every lonely night was a reminder that His presence is not always loud, but it is always real. And when the healing begins to show, it won't come as a grand announcement. It'll come as small things, a deep breath that doesn't hurt anymore, laughter that feels natural again, a sunrise that doesn't ache when you look at it. Those moments are holy. They are proof that even the most silent battles end with resurrection. What was broken doesn't just mend, it transforms. You may not return to who you were before the pain, but you will become someone more tender, more grounded, more alive. You'll understand the kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, the kind of hope that stands firm even when the storm returns. And maybe that's what these silent battles were always for. Not to destroy you, but to rebuild you into someone who carries light quietly, humbly, powerfully, the kind of light that comforts others who are still fighting in the dark. One day, you will meet someone whose eyes mirror the pain you once carried, and you will recognize them. You will tell them, "I've been there," and your story will become their hope. That is how heaven redeems pain, by turning your survival into someone else's miracle. So don't despise your silence. Don't curse your process. You are not falling apart. You are being remade. There is a difference between breaking and being broken open. Breaking destroys, but being broken open allows something sacred to enter. Let the light in. Let grace do its quiet work. Let faith whisper louder than fear. The battle may be silent, but it's not wasted. The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Romans 8:18. When you reach the end of yourself, that's where divine strength begins. You'll find that the moment you thought was your breaking point was actually your turning point. You will stand in the aftermath of your pain and realize that survival was never the goal. Transformation was. And you'll finally understand that the silent battles you fought alone